Billy B. Brown, The Spotty Holiday by Sally Rippin. Chapter 1. Billy B. Brown has one packet of mints, 12 colored pencils, and a brand new suitcase on wheels. Do you know what the B in Billy B. Brown stands for? Bouncy. Billy B. Brown is bouncy all over the place. She's as excited as a bunny. Do you know why Billy is so excited? She's going to stay with her grandma for a whole week. Billy loves her grandma. One packet of mints, 12 colored pencils, a brand new suitcase on wheels. He lives in a city that is very far away, too far away to drive. So Grandma is taking Billy there on a plane. How exciting! On the plane, Grandma lets Billy sit by the window. Billy has never been on a plane before. She wants to try all the buttons and games. She eats a whole packet of mints before the plane even takes off. Billy says her grandma, how about you draw a picture or read a book? But Billy is too excited to draw or read. She has been counting sleeps for weeks. When the plane takes off, it moves very fast and makes a loud noise. Billy is a teensy bit scared. She peeks through the little window. The cars and houses outside get smaller and smaller below. Billy has never seen anything so wonderful. It looks like a fairyland. She is not scared anymore, but she squeezes Grandma's hand as they go through the clouds. Bumpity bump bump. Billy has written a list of all the fun things they are going to do at Grandma's. Zoo, shopping new shoes, purple ones, movies, adventure playground, no water world near Grandma's house. Billy cannot wait until they get there. They have so much to do. Chapter 2. When they arrive at Grandma's apartment, it is already dark. Billy feels very tired. Grandma tucked Billy into a fold-out bed in the study. The sheets feel cool and crisp, but Billy feels hot and itchy. She has a bit of a tummy ache. Probably just all the excitement, love, Grandma says. She kisses Billy good night. You will feel better tomorrow. Billy finds it very hard to get to sleep. Grandma's apartment looks spooky in the dark. The traffic outside is very noisy, and Billy feels hotter and itchier than ever. When Billy wakes up the next morning, she's covered in spots. Do you know what they are? Chicken pox. Chicken pox? Says Billy. Chicken pox, says Grandma, shaking her head. Luckily, I've already had it, so I cannot catch it again. But we don't want other children catching it. You have to stay inside until you're better. But what about the zoo? Billy gasps. And the movies and my new shoes. Big fat tears roll down Billy's spotty cheeks. I'm sorry, sighs Grandma, but there is nothing we can do. How about you get out your sketchbook and pencils? I'll make you breakfast in bed, French toast with bananas, Billy says, wiping her eyes. With banana, says Grandma. Billy eats up all her breakfast. Then she calls her mom and dad. Guess what? Billy's mom says. Baby Noah has chicken pox too. Billy laughs. She cannot imagine her little brother all covered in spots. Hello, Noah, Billy shouts down the phone. After Billy says goodbye, she climbs back into bed and takes out a sketchbook and pencils. But it's no use. She cannot think of anything to draw. Billy feels itchy and scratchy all over. Grandma says that Billy shouldn't scratch her spots or they will scar. Billy sighs. She wishes she could go outside to the park and the shops and the zoos. Billy wrote so many fun things on her list. Now she cannot do any of them. What a miserable holiday. Then Billy has an idea. A super duper idea. You will never guess what she's up to. Chapter 3. Okay, Grandma, Billy calls. You can call me now. Grandma walks into the laundry room. Wow, Billy, this looks brilliant, she says. Billy giggles. Hee. Grandma is right. The laundry room looks, well, it doesn't look like the laundry room anymore. Billy has been drawing pictures of the zoo animals all morning. While Grandma made lunch, Billy stuck the pictures around the room. She even moved some of Grandma's furniture to look like cages. Now the laundry room looks like a zoo. Grandma and Billy walk around Billy's zoo looking at all the animals. Be careful of that one, Billy says. She points to my Fred, who is sitting in Grandma's laundry basket. He is a ferocious bear. Grandma pretends to look scared. Billy laughs. Grandma has packed a picnic for lunch. After they have seen all the animals, they sit down on the carpet to eat their sandwiches. How about we go to the ice cream shop next? Asks Grandma, winking. Yeah, says Billy, following Grandma into the kitchen. Grandma pretends to be the ice cream shop lady. She hands Billy a bowl of vanilla ice cream. Billy hands her some pretend money. Then Grandma takes some things out of the cupboard. Bananas, choc chips, peanut butter, maple syrup, and sprinkles. Would you like to choose a topping, madam? She asked in a silly voice. Can I put anything on it? Billy asks. Of course, says Grandma. Billy smiles. Can I put everything on it? Grandma laughs. Whatever you like, love. Billy mixes everything into ice cream until it is a big, goopy mess. Delicious. This holiday is much more fun than she thought. That night, after Billy's bath, Grandma puts a special cream on Billy's spots to stop them itching. The spots are red and even itchier than before, but Billy is doing a very good job of not scratching them. When Grandma has finished, Billy hops into bed and takes out a holiday list. She crosses out zoo. What is next? Shopping, new shoes. Oh dear, how can they go shoe shopping when Billy has to stay inside? But then Billy has another idea, a super duper idea, even super duper than the last one. Can you guess what she's thinking? Chapter 4. The next morning, Billy gets up early. There is so much to do. What's our plan for today? Grandma asked over breakfast. Shoe shopping, says Billy. Great, says Grandma. I love shopping for shoes. Billy and Grandma go into Grandma's bedroom. Billy tries on all the shoes in the wardrobe. Pink ones, sparkly ones, boots, and sandals. Finally, Billy finds the perfect shoes. They're exactly the same purple as Billy's t-shirt. They are a teensy bit big, but Billy doesn't mind. Billy and Grandma pay Mr. Fred, who is the shopkeeper. Billy cross shopping new shoes off her list. What's next? Asks Grandma. Going to the movies, says Billy. Okay, says Grandma. How about I get my neighbor to pick us up some DVDs? We can make popcorn. Yeah, says Billy. She jumps up and down in excitement. Glad to see you are still my bouncy Billy, says Grandma, even with the chicken pox. Billy makes movie tickets for herself and Grandma. Then she closes all the blinds in the laundry room so it's nice and dark, just like at the movies. When the cinema is ready, she helps Grandma make popcorn in a big saucepan. Billy loves watching the popcorn jump around inside the pan. Billy and Grandma spend all week inside, but Billy never gets bored. One morning, Billy makes an adventure playground out of cushions. And that night, he gets to play Waterworld in the bath. What a mess! On the last day of the holiday, Billy's spots have cleared up enough for her to go outside, which is lucky because it is time for Billy and Grandma to catch the plane home again. On the plane, Billy fiddles with all the buttons on the armrest. She accidentally pushes the button to call the flight attendant. Oops, sorry, says Billy, when the woman arrives. That's all right, dear, said the attendant. She smiles at Billy and Grandma. Are you on holiday with your grandma? Yes, says Billy, but I got the chicken pox, so I couldn't go outside. We had to stay inside for a whole week. Oh, what a shame, says the attendant. That must have been a pretty boring holiday. No way, says Billy. We went to the zoo and ate ice cream. We went shopping, and I even went to Waterworld. Waterworld? Says the attendant. But I thought you stayed at home. We did, says Billy, and I had the best holiday ever. The flight attendant looks confused, but Billy and Grandma look at each other and giggle. All right, so much for today. See you guys next week. Bye.